Well, hello. Welcome to the Power of After show, where we help you answer what's next at mid career, halftime of life, really maximizing your skills, your experience, and really be able to move ahead on the lifestyle that you desire. And today we're talking about appearance versus reality, how to align your life with what truly matters. And before walking on a stage, there's always a certain amount of self talk that I've done. And for years, a colleague and I would encourage each other with a simple pep talk before each concert, something to sharpen our focus and concentration. And coaches do the same thing before athletic events. And these moments are designed to build confidence, motivation, and clarity. And today's message is kind of like a pep talk, a reminder to realign our lives with what truly matters, our values, our purpose, and the life that we are intentionally creating. So stay tuned. You've spent years building what matters. Now, with Power of After courses and elite mentorship, it's time to move forward with intention and impact. This is the Power of After show. Let's get started. There comes a point at mid-career or the halftime of life when many people start asking these deeper questions. Is this the life that I'm living now truly aligned with who I am? Where am I building something meaningful, or am I just simply maintaining appearances? What truly matters now? And from the outside, life might appear very successful. We see this all over social media, in fact. The career may be established, the house may be full, the schedule may be packed, and hey, our social media might even tell a really polished story of achievement and happiness. But internally, many may feel disconnected, exhausted, overwhelmed, or quietly restless. And appearance and reality are not always the same. And at halftime of life, we're often given a unique opportunity, the chance to reassess, to realign, and intentionally create the next chapter of our life based not only on pressure or performance, but on purpose and on values. And this stage of life, it's not about starting over from zero. I've said this over and over. It's about building wisely from everything already accumulated: skills, experience, relationships, wisdom, resilience, and perspective. And as I've discussed through many episodes of our Power of After show, this season can become one of the most purposeful and fulfilling chapters of life when approached intentionally. And those are the type of guests I bring on as well, those who have either reinvented or just really created a great life at this point in their life, mid-career, halftime of life. And today's message is a type of pep talk to create focus with a challenge to realign our personal and professional lives with what truly values. So let's talk first about the trap of appearance. Well, our modern culture, it rewards appearance, right? Every time we're looking in a mirror, we're kind of looking at our appearance, and we're encouraged to project success, productivity, influence, and youthfulness and relevance. But appearances, those can become so exhausting when they're disconnected from reality, trying to keep everything up. And it's possible to appear accomplished, but while internally inside feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or uncertain, almost broken about what comes next. And many mid-career professionals, they discover that they've spent years building a life around expectations instead of intentionality. And perhaps they've pursued a title instead of fulfillment. Maybe this is you, or maybe it's somebody you know. Busyness instead of clarity. Income without margin. That's a big one. Achievement without purpose or stability, really without joy. And at some point, the emotional tension between appearance and reality, it becomes just difficult to ignore. Now, that tension is not necessarily negative because it's just a warning. It's a warning sign to pay attention. It can become a catalyst for meaningful change. It's just almost like failure. It's just a point where we can learn. Halftime is a perfect opportunity to pause, to reassess, and ask really what matters, truly matters now at this point in my life. And what kind of lifestyle do I actually really want? And what values am I living by? Those need to be reevaluated. Really, you should reevaluate your values, really evaluate your values every quarter or at least twice a year. And what legacy am I building? You might not be building this huge legacy build business, but really, what do people know you for and as? And what strengths and experience have I underestimated? And these questions matter because clarity creates direction. And in fact, we are on a property where we have a lot of fruit trees, and so I hate to waste anything, so I make jam. And some of the people that I know, they know me as making great jam or great pies, but they also equate that with my lifestyle and what I do, and even my business, because I'm always trying to create more benefit out of what I'm given. So let's talk about defining core values, your internal compass. These are so very important. I've talked about core values, and it's always a good reminder to me as well, just to review my own consistently. And one of the greatest dangers in life is drifting without really clearly defined values. Core values, they act as an internal compass. They shape our decisions, relationships, our priorities, business practices, and really even our lifestyle choices. And without them, it becomes so easy to build a life based on comparison, cultural pressure, or even external validation. And I often emphasize the define your core values and live by them. That's important. And it's part of creating a purpose driven life. And core values are the deeply held principles that guide how we live and work. And I illustrate this in my book, Stop Circling, especially well in the appendix. You'll want to look that up. And the umbrella over all of our values is faith. And why do I believe this? It's because what we believe in and call upon for external, additional strength and power is that higher power. We need that. What are you going to call on when you're really stuck? Um, if you've raised kids and now you have adult kids and you are at this point, one of the biggest things that we can do for our kids is just to call on that power, higher power, to pray, right? And it's what I'm doing a lot of these days. It's important. And underneath that umbrella of faith are items such as integrity, creativity, freedom, service, excellence, family, growth, contribution, simplicity. Oh, that's a good one. How can you make your life even more simple? And health. Health is a big one. Keeping up with that. Keep moving. Adventure. Right now, this is the point of our lives. My husband and these are the travel years. Compassion, wisdom, and authenticity. Authenticity is a huge buzzword right now. But what does it really mean? What does it mean to you? Is that part of your values? And the challenge is not merely identifying the values, but aligning daily life with them. And so here are some examples of questions, and make these simple. I've listed out the long list there, and those are all in the article, by the way. Make sure you get the article that comes with this. And if you're watching YouTube, make sure you're subscribing because you won't miss a single episode. But here are some questions. If family is a core value, does your schedule reflect it? Are you leaving space for family? Are you leaving time to be flexible? And that's big for me right now. Sometimes I don't know when I'm going to get to spend time with my family. I at least want to leave little holes and little opportunities that I can put some things off and spend time with family when they're available. And it in health, if that matters, are you protecting your physical and emotional well-being? Part of health is getting enough sleep. I have to make sure I get to bed early enough because I'm still going to wake up early in the morning. So I want to make sure of that and to keep moving. And if freedom matters, have you structured your work and your finances accordingly? Can you get away from the work? I try to be able to put my work together and record and do all of the scheduling things so I can completely get away from work, even for weeks at a time. That takes planning. It takes intention. And if purpose matters, are you spending time on meaningful contribution, not just spinning your wheels? And many people, they unknowingly, they just build lifestyles that contradict their values. All of a sudden they look back and you go, oh, what am I doing? And that disconnect, it often produces just frustration. It produces burnout, overwhelm, and confusion. So after really identifying and again reviewing those core values, just be simple with this. Look up that appendix in Stop Circling. It's one of the best chapters on that. And I also cover it in my other books. But we identify purpose, and this is the anchor for your next chapter. And what is an anchor? I always think of a boat, of a ship, how important that anchor is. And to keep it from just drifting. Purpose provides direction beyond just appearances. And at halftime, purpose becomes less about just proving ourselves and more about contributing meaningfully. I think younger, we're trying to prove that we can really do it and that we're not an imposter, right? And you might feel like that right now in some areas, especially technically, but it's about contributing meaningfully, is looking at life and not being overwhelmed from that. And it shifts from that external achievement toward that internal alignment. And in my book, Women at Halftime, great book, by the way, it's been out for quite a while, I explain how purpose becomes one of the cables of success that propels us upward on Hero Mountain. It's a great book, really outlining those cables of success of Hero Mountain. Very popular book, good book. And purpose answers the questions like this. Why do I want to continue working? Really? Do you really want to continue? See, I don't want to ever stop working, but I want my work to fit into the lifestyle that I desire. I love my work, but I don't want to be driven by it. And what contribution do I want to make? Of course, I want to keep doing episodes like this. I want to keep writing books. I'm writing another one right now. This is very, very important for me. And who do I want to help? I do know I want to help those who are really stuck at mid-career, halftime of life, really that need a change, want to change, and maybe they they are stuck. And so what impact do I want my experience to create? I have a lot of experience, but I have to simplify it. I have to make it feasible for people to be really help people. And what kind of life do I really want to build now? I like flexibility. That's one of the biggest things. I love flexibility. I get up early. I work hard, but I like to be able to get outside. I just love that. So purpose is not reserved for just one dramatic calling. And often, though, purpose grows through a number of things. Mentoring others. I'm mentoring quite a bit more right now. I feel like it's very effective. I've had small groups. I've worked with groups from when I was even in high school. I've mentored others and I continue doing that. Of course, I speak, I've done concerts, I've done all sorts of large events, but I love the fact that I can have influence on a single life or a single small group. It's extremely effective. Moving people forward, building meaningful businesses. I love that as well. The purpose grows through that. I've continued to build different types of businesses, from music career to books and authors and podcasts even. Teaching. done a lot of teaching, writing, and serving, creating, leading. There's so many areas here, solving problems, encouraging growth, and sharing wisdom accumulated through experiences. There are so many that have that wisdom. You know, rub shoulders with them. And you're going to be one of those as well. Rub shoulders with others that need your experience. And at midlife, mid career, many discover they're no longer motivated just by income or recognition. That's just not a huge motivator for me. But I do want to be able to expand my significance and just messages and alignment. That's very, very important. They want meaningful work connected to who they truly are. So let's talk about designing a desired lifestyle for this season of life. I've talked a lot about this as well. It's part of the core common denominator I've written about in my books. One of the greatest freedoms at mid career is the opportunity to intentionally design your lifestyle. Earlier seasons of life often revolve around survival, right? Raising children. We've raised three sons, all 4 years and under. I mean, it was busy, career building and meeting endless responsibilities. But the halftime of life, it offers the opportunity to ask a different question. How do I really want to live? And this requires clarity, especially clarity aligned with values and long-term goals. So a desired lifestyle might include more flexibility. I've just shared, I love my flexibility, more travel. Doing more travel, I love travel, but I have to plan ahead for it because I still want to work. More family connection. Oh, that is so very important. Part of our trips right now, part of our travel is to visit our sons and their families. They're all in different places. How about that? We all used to be the generations past, people lived close to each other, but now they seem to be more spread out. Health and wellness. Boy, this takes some work, by the way. Health and wellness focus. Creative freedom. Love that. And reduce stress and meaningful relationships. I've tried to expand the relationships in my life to include people that don't always believe the same exact things that I do, but I get along with them when we have fun and we can laugh. And that's great. I love that. Purpose-driven work. Of course, I've talked about that, and location independence. I like where I live, so I'd rather travel and stay here. But that's that independence. I have the freedom to do that. And simpler living. This is a tough one, by by the way. Trying to be simple is really tough because purging what we don't need, that's a really tough one. At this stage of life, it's really tough for me, actually. I kind of need people around me to help me go, do you really need that? Financial margin, of course, that's always something. And service opportunities. There are things that come up. I love to be able to give, but I have to be choosy as well. And the key is intentionality. Without intentional design, people often drift into overcommitment, distraction, and exhaustion. So common. That might be you right now. It might be you as you're listening to this. And they remain busy, but disconnected from what really matters the most. In this stage of life, it's not about just slowing down emotionally or mentally, but it's about becoming more strategic and aligned. And one of the biggest mistakes mid-career professionals make is undervaluing their accumulated experience. Years and years of leadership, problem solving, communication, adaptability, resilience, relationship building. Oh, there's so many things. Creativity. Those are enormous values. And especially those soft skills. People like that personal touch. I mean, do you like getting on the phone when you need help? Do you like talking to a bot or to a person? I will pretty much guarantee that most of you listening like to talk to a person. When I was overseas and my flight had changed and I called the airline, I wanted to talk to a person. I did not want to talk to a computer. Enormous, enormous value. That's important. And these are future-proof strengths. Now, the future doesn't belong only to the youngest or more technical individuals. It belongs to those adaptable learners who can combine their experience and their wisdom and communication and their creativity and technology tools. You might feel you're behind on that, but no, you can catch up and really use almost the minimal and still be great. Strategic thinking and emotional intelligence is huge, and it's extraordinarily powerful. And I want to emphasize that technology is an expansion tool. It's not a threat. And many times those at halftime, they feel intimidated, right? About AI and the rapid changing technology. I have I've had that message has come to me for years, even before AI was a big deal. Oh, I'm not very good at tech. How often have I heard that over and over and over? But technology should not simply be viewed as competition or something difficult to overcome. It can become an expansion tool using it smartly. AI, automation, online learning, content platforms, digital communications, they all allow individuals to launch businesses, to create courses, to podcasts, books, and at least be an assistant on doing those things. I write a lot of my material, but I use AI as an assistant, build communities, and automate systems. Automation is very important. I've written about this quite a bit and reach global audiences. Repurpose expertise. If you don't have a, uh, a little GPT on your online, your AI, make sure that it has your content and that you can have your own resource there right online. It's amazing. It'll quote back to me parts of my book, and this is my own ability. That's like my own assistant. And scale your influence. You can do it that way. And it's especially encouraging for mid career professionals because, well, they already possess all of this knowledge and stories, insight, relationships, and wisdom. So technology just expands the ability to deliver value. The key is remaining teachable. You don't need to master every new tool. Don't be overwhelmed. You just need the willingness to continue learning and adapting. So I've entitled this The Appearance versus Reality, and what is necessary to realign ourselves to that. Realignment, it requires honesty, and sometimes the appearance of success, it masks the burnout that we might feel, the misalignment, the fear, the overcommitment, the financial stress, maybe isolation. Are you lonely? Lack of purpose and emotional exhaustion? And the solution isn't just pretending harder. The solution is alignment. And if the wheels of your car go out of alignment, I've felt that. Well, you can feel it. Every time if I go over a curb or anything, I think, oh no, oh no. Well, if your car is misaligned, the car will pull to the left or to the right, or if it just feels really unstable. And life is the same way. When the areas of your life are aligned, the end result can bring peace, clarity, and contentment. And this kind of alignment, it produces something the appearance never can. It can bring peace and contentment. Not perfection and not ease, but clarity and congruence. And this next chapter of your life, it just might become your most creative season, your most meaningful work, your healthiest years, your strongest relationships, your greatest contribution, or your clearest sense of purpose. I just had an appointment last week with someone that has started a nonprofit and is just really struggling. Where do I go from here? But it requires intentional alignment. It's intentional, not only alignment, but follow through. You have to follow through on just some major points of between just what's appearing and actually the reality. So I'm going to give you some questions for reflection and application. All of these are in the article. And I'm also going to give you some really just a couple steps at the very end. So here are some questions, though. Reflect honestly on these. What matters most to you right now? What what are the biggest issues in your life? And what core values are guiding your decisions? Have you do you need to go back and spend a little time on those? And does your current lifestyle align with those values? Are you doing really what you want to do? And you might need to keep working. You might need that income, but are you aligning that with your current lifestyle? And what strengths and experiences have you underestimated? Take time to do that. Look up that core common denominator. It's in the book, Women at Halftime. I've discussed it in my other books as well, all of the books after that, and especially even Power of After. And what kind of contribution do I want to make in this next chapter of your life? And what technology or tools could help expand your impact? Are there different areas that you could learn? Of course there are. So but be picky. Don't be overwhelmed. And what needs to change for greater alignment in your life? It might be your mindset. It might be the way you're thinking about moving forward. And write those answers down. Clarity often begins when your thoughts become visible. I write a lot. I love pen and paper. I'm a pen and paper girl. I have to write it down. I have to look at it. Very, very visual. And at the halftime of life, you're not finished, you're not behind, and you're not irrelevant. You're carrying decades of accumulated wisdom, resilience, skills, relationships, and experience that still matter just so deeply. But the goals now, it's not just maintaining appearances. We can all put up wonderful memes and all sorts of, AI does a lot of that. But I tell you what, people are starting to recognize AI as okay, they just putting those out. Be real. The goal is building a life aligned with what truly matters to you. I love those little short videos that are just real. I'm attracted to those. That alignment creates freedom. And often the most purposeful chapter, it begins after your first half or even 2/3 are over. So here are two to three steps just to apply right now. Number one is to define your core values. Okay, look at that appendix of stop circling, and you can write down your top 5 values and ask, does your schedule reflect them? Does your work reflect them? And what about your spending? What about your finances? Is that reflecting your values? Number 2, validate your experience. Don't discount it. See that core common denominator. That's in the Women at Halftime, Power of After books. Create a competency bank that includes your skills, your experiences, your achievements, the lessons that you've learned. People learn from those. Be honest. Relationships built and your problems that you have solved. Wow, you have more value than you realize. That's why I love the interview process of this podcast, of this show, is because I get to pursue some of those problems that people have solved. It's wonderful. We all learn from that. I learned from that. And then identify just one technology tool to learn. Oh, all you need is one to start. Maybe it could be an AI writing assistant. I had a call today, or one of our sons calls me fairly often, which I'm very grateful for, by the way. But I told him how I use AI. I said, I do my own writing, but then I use AI to help me edit or say it a little bit differently, maybe with a little more humor, or maybe just turn around the words to make it more sensible as I'm writing, because I write a lot. It's helpful. Maybe you can help with like a podcast platform. I put in some of my systems all in that Power of After book. An email marketing system. I put that in there too, a course platform, video creation tool. There's so many things. CRM. And just learn one tool that will expand your ability to learn and to serve and to communicate. And if you need help or ideas, again, get the Power of After book. I share my systems and my strategy, and it has a wonderful free download as well in there. But I've given you even some screenshots and things of what I use. And of course, I'm always kind of tweaking and using things maybe a little bit different, but the system has stayed the same for years and years and years, and it works. It's automated. It works. I have to work to put it in place, but then it works. It's automated. So your experience plus modern tools can create an extraordinary impact. I hope this has been a good little pep talk for you today to move ahead. You have so much. And just this alignment, so important. Be authentic in that alignment. It's okay. It's okay to be real. So I hope you can apply some of these things. Again, look at the article. Make sure you get our newsletter because you will not miss a single thing, even the videos. goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. And also, I do a lot of virtual events, some live events. I'm kind of picky on where I go out, but I love to be able to help others because I've done it quite a bit. Goals for Your Life. Again, you can see all of that on my website, also Deborah Johnson Speaker. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will look forward to being with you again next time on the Power of After show and a lot of other places as well. Bye-bye for now. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I love bringing you insights to help you maximize your skills, resources, and experience at mid-career and beyond so that you can make your next chapter your most impactful and purposeful yet. I'm Deborah Johnson, and I can't wait to be with you again next time on the Power of After show.